So where are we now? Bit of a sort of an overview. 24 trained property inspectors. We're really operational in Perth, Adelaide, Melbourne, ACT and Sydney. Just looking at kicking off in Queensland in the second half of this year. First, running at around 250 to 300 building inspections. Their building inspector, Timber Pest, is running at around 120, 130, 140 in Perth. Victoria 70 to 80 inspections per month. These are building inspections. The TPI generally is running at 20 to 30% of that number, just connected. That's how it works. And as we then start promoting it, it boosts to 45 to 50%. Yeah. New South Wales, around 100 inspections a month. Adelaide, 30 to 40. 15 staff. You know, when people look at the business, they go, why have you got so many staff? That's the one comment. You've only got 24 guys, you've got 15 staff. It's actually really high. And that's just because of the difference in how we operate. So it's sort of really invested. You know, our major cost in our business is people. It's a major cost for us. But we don't see how we can provide the level of support we need to grow and expand the business without that. So it's really important for us. You meet people who've got franchises, 200 franchises, they've got 3 staff. Because they don't really do much. They sort of bring on board. You know, I'm trying to comprehend how they operate that business. You know, because we're flat out. You know, all of us are flat out doing stuff, and I think we can do things better. And we've got 15 staff. I can't get my head around it. 2 staff, 4 staff. We've got 200 guys on the ground. It's just a different model. It's completely different. It's sort of like it's over to you. You know, the franchise model's like, you know, don't get too involved. Really, it's a bit different. Yeah.
At Transnet Freight Rail, we had 35,000 employees, 37 billion turnover, and every £1 that we made, 57 cents was going towards salaries.
57%,
57%, yeah.
That's high, eh? So it's high.
So I can see that, yeah.
Yep. It's a service, I guess it links into service, doesn't it? Yeah, as a process. So 24 licensees on the ground, and over 15,000 inspections that we've completed to date. So what's the difference? What's our real key point of difference from how we operate? I guess the first thing is that we're a full virtual business. So we don't own a filing cabinet, we don't own desks, we don't have offices. You know, all our staff operate from home. So we're a business that's been built on a platform of a virtual business. So staff are all over Australia, all over overseas, and it's really a natural extension. The reason that we can really support guys well is because this is how we operate as a business. If you don't know how to operate in a virtual business platform, it's very hard to support virtual business owners as well. It's really hard. It's actually not that simple. There's got to have a whole bunch of tools, communication processes. Because that's it's sort of our DNA of how we operate, it's naturally easy for us to support people remotely. Does that make sense? If you haven't done that before, it's actually quite challenging. You know, we've got staff overseas, we communicate stuff, we do this, our platforms, you just have to be way better organised, and you have to have much more attention on communication protocols, because you're not present. And that's what enables us to really work with guys closely, even though we may not be present. Makes sense? The whole customer service, it's just excellent customer service. It's just crazy. Our customer service is just always, all the testimonials, people rate us. I get it to my phone continually. It's just how it works. If you sort of look, I don't know if you guys can see this issue. When you look at feedback, these are just trying to set this up this time.
Just got a mirror, or in this state, you've got to drag it across.
I'll just drag this across.
Should be able to.
These are all the testimonials that we receive. So I get them to my phone, Dan gets them, quality guys get them, so it's not like a bit of a, you know, what's going on in the business. We have a pretty good handle on, you know, where we're at. And I sort of, it's 8 or a 10, they should be. So if you look this morning, we've, you know, the 8th day, this is yesterday. And so it gives us an incredibly powerful idea about the business. So if I click on a feedback, you know, if I click on one of these, I'm really looking for bad feedback. You know, Darren was very thorough, communicated all issues, including the overall state of the house. That's normal, isn't it? So that's good. You know, that's what we should do. I mean, what I'm really, from a business owner point of view, I'm really interested in bad feedback, if I can get any. You know, 8, good communication. 8, very happy with the report and the prompt inspection. 8, as per above, so obviously building one.
We had a bad one 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. It was great in my opinion. However, my partner thought more would have been paid to test the electrical side of things, smoke alarms. Your reports simply told us they were there. You know, so maybe can we look at that and go, should we maybe communicate better? So it's a good way to look at it. So maybe should we look at communicating something a bit differently? Is there lack of it? Is that an expectation thing? You know, found the report to be very comprehensive. So it's just, you know, and every now and then when I see one that comes back, sometimes you get really scorcher ones with a guy, very prompt service, a thorough informative report delivered. So these just coming through all the time, you know, most of the times they're 8 or 10s, you know, that's just the nature of. So we're getting this live feedback, fantastic service, extremely efficient, prompt, thorough, would recommend anyone to use this. You know, so it's just, you know, that's what we'd expect. I don't expect anything less than that. So if we're getting something that's a 2 or a 4 or a 6, we go, you know, so then there's a whole service alert methodology where someone contacts them and finds out what's going on. You just have to accept that some people you're never going to make happy.
Yeah.
But was there an issue, you know? So if there's something that's broken or not operating properly, we find out about it very quickly. Does that make sense? So customer service is very, very important.
Is that coming from the agents as well as the owners and
agents, we have a testimonial process and then the clients themselves. You send these to the agents. It's really cool. Oh, thanks for referring that job to me. This is what the client had to say. And you go, well, isn't it great? Because you know, that's what you want to know. If you're going to give someone work, you know, third-party person saying that was great because it makes this guy look good.
That's brilliant for repeat business.
It is. So it's really powerful. So customer service, excellent. We know we do actually deliver it. We're a national business. We're the only business that's operating everywhere where we are and expanding. So we've got a footprint. We're the timber pest inspection franchise, we're the only one that does that. There's controlled franchises that's specialising in that. So it's like we've sort of broken into a line that we see as a very important line. So we're very specialised. We don't do other stuff. We are an inspection process orientated business, with a national footprint. But one thing is we're consistent. All our service delivery, whether you're operating in Perth or Sydney or Melbourne, now a guy from Perth could go to Melbourne and could execute. No dramas. You know, you could do no dramas at all. It's consistent. That's really important. Because if you want to go away, you want to know that someone's going to deliver it to the same steps. Otherwise, you're trapped. If you want to sell the business or you want to bring someone into work for you, you want to know that, you know, if it's random ad hoc, then you're chained. You might develop a whole way of doing the business, but it means you can't get anyone to do it for you. You can't leave, you can't sell it, you can't do anything with it. So consistency is really important. And what really, the training's great. What really grooves in the consistency is the provisional phase. This is where there's not wrong or right, it's just how we do it. Yeah? Because you can do it a number of different ways, but it's actually how we do it. It's where you park the car when you turn up. It's what you say to someone when you go. It's how that we communicate the stuff in the report. It's all those things. The provisional phase and the report checking it is a wrong or right initially, but then it becomes a grooving in for consistency. Where there's no other way of doing that. You just have to get this consistency. And now we've introduced an auditing process. We audit a licensee a week, every week. So Dan's brought this process, and there's a full audit process. And because guys get a little bit, they're delivering back, but you know, we just check, are you doing that? You know, we look at every, you know, so now every week we audit, so we'll basically audit every Within 6 months we'll audit, and then we'll start again, and then we'll start again, and then we'll start again. So really important, and this consistency is value for our business and is value for your business. Very important. One of the things about business is, we all have you got mates who come up with an idea about something. Oh, come up with an idea. It's fantastic. Going to make a fortune. And I always go, does anyone want that? Need it? Of course, why wouldn't they want to need it? It's like, I don't know, maybe you should just find out. I mean, it's so obvious. If you're going to do something, just make sure that it's wanted and needed. And it's not, there's products. We didn't know we needed an iPad. So if you're going to develop something, just have a bit of money behind you to sort of educate the market, because you can do it. Apple got out there, Jobs got out there, and how do we ever survive without iPads and iPhones? It's a bit of money to get that into our heads, wasn't it? But if you want to kick off, just find out that something that someone needs and wants, and just grab that and go with it, And then not just the service or the product, but how it's delivered. If you can align that really closely to what's needed and wanted, it's just a success formula, isn't it? It's not rocket science, but there's not enough of finding that out. Yeah, it's very important. And you have to be scalable. Being scalable, my business is scalable, your business is scalable as well. Yeah. So it has to be scalable, it's very important. And so that relates to processes, training, systems, all these things are very important in relation to scalability. Yep. So it's really some of our key points of difference about how we operate. So what's our strategy? We've got a bit of an expansion strategy, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about what that means for you. Some of the additional services roll out and the basis for this. And then really different phases, where we're at. Just a bit of high level understanding what our strategy is. Part of what we're looking at is building a real established distribution network across the country, because the mission is to get the brand everywhere. Yeah? It just needs to be everywhere, not just metro, but it has to be regional. So our focus now is we're really going to start putting attention on regional locations. So it just needs to be a brand that people recognise and know everywhere, because that strengthens our position in the marketplace. Fortunately, there's no one in that spot. It's really hard if you have to dislodge someone, but no one's really there. It's much easier to step into a box if it's empty. So it's actually an empty box. And that's what's enabled us to really get a good hold of this position in the marketplace. And some of the things that we're looking at is, I've read this book now. I'm still playing with the title, there's a book that's going out to strengthen our brand in the marketplace, strategic alliances. There's strategies that we're looking at now about how do we strengthen our position in the marketplace. And it's a real strategy around real strength in local operational processes, which is what you guys bring, but you've got behind you a platform that gives you a really strong foundation. Yeah. So what are we sort of do? In 2015 going forward, we're sort of looking at expanding into Queensland, Tasmania, so really pushing in the locations where we're not. We're running at about 450, just under 460 building inspections. We're looking at taking that to 800 in the next 12 months. Timber, leading brand. We are one of the leading brands now. We are, the leading brand, and really consolidating in the next year. Really consolidating that position through some of the strategies that we've got. Expand the inspection service offering. So we've got some ideas about other service offerings that we're going to expand into that align with our business. Yeah. Taking timber pest inspections, we're running around just over 200 a month now. So this will grow substantially in the next 12 months. There's a substantial growth base for us. Yeah. And then really these alliances and really corporate alliances, we've now had a process of establishing some strategic corporate alliances here in Perth. We've built a bit of a methodology and we want to look at how we can roll that out across the country. Yeah, that's becoming the next. You have to have the business at a certain platform before you can start looking at that. So these are some of the targets we've set ourselves as a business over the next year.
The corporate alliances, would that now, obviously that would roll out within each thing, so you have an alliance in every area with certain agents.
That's correct. It relates to, like in Perth, we have a particular profile of what we consider a good strategic partner, and we frame that. We've got two, and they're strategic alliances with large aligned real estate agencies. You know, so, and it depends on each location. In Perth, we've got two companies that we've got agreements, formal agreements signed, and they have a base of, between the two of them, they've got 170 real estate agents. And so we have a referral arrangement, an agreement platform in place. So it's taken a little bit of time to build that platform. Now what we want to do is expand that in each location.
Okay.
You need to have capacity on the ground in each location. So we've been able to do that in Perth because we've got strong capacity. In each location, when we get the capacity to a sensible level, then we can really do it. Because you can't offer it, because all of a sudden you go wrong, and you can't deliver. So it's actually really important that each location gets to a certain level before you can roll it out.
How's the industry received that? Are they pretty open to it, the alliances?
Oh yeah, it just depends. Depends on the individual. We're not looking for many. We're actually looking for. It's actually quite rifle targeted, not white shots. You know, there's not many companies would actually want to do that with. You know, very important. You can't handle. As a business, we just can't handle too many of those. It has to be very, very, very targeted.
Yeah.
But it's actually a key area for us. All right, so this gives you a bit of a to have a bit of an understanding about the startup phase of the business, the history. Any questions around that? Okay. Current business status, where we're at. Does everyone sort of understand where we're at? Yeah. What our strategy is going forward, what we're doing, and then really the medium to long-term vision, and really where we're aiming to take the business. So it's really a starting point. It's not an end point; it's a start point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.